choosing the right one. International markets. Right on the left, sorry, to the right, we can see number of companies that has done great in the international market, starting from Canada's, even Siddha label. There's more things like natural products, biscuits, of course, DAMRO, grains, great and grand success in quite a number of countries, DILMA all over Europe. So Sri Lanka has gone international. We've done well in the international markets. Our firms are not that small, and the incomes we make out of that, right national assessment of it, but cannot be small. Added to that, companies like, let's say, even the companies like Money, Brandex, MAS are being involved in the international markets. So how to select the particular market and how to reach out the particular market, how to identify the right market has been the question of this particular video. And I'm going to focus on Renuka, run by Shaw Wallace and Hedges company. It's a kind of a silent player in this the economic sphere. Plastic coconut-based products, into tea as well, and some of our household stuff like the Rich Life powder, coconut milk powder, that is right. They're all part of it. Yes, this company has been in decent level of international marketing. Okay, so when you move into the international market, countries are massive. You're coming from Lanka where the market is very, very small, and the moment you go out, you're looking at a huge market, far bigger in size and scope than the Sri Lankan market. So wonder, right? Any exporter would wonder what shall I do, where shall I move, and how much, how far, how big, and with which product should I reach out. No easy thing to think about, but the comforting sense is so many Sri Lankan companies have been successful at it. Done it well, it cannot be impossible for others. There's no, as I say, one size fits all theory. These companies would have achieved success in the international market by going in their own different ways. Factors may matter. Are we to go with a foreign subsidiary, licensing or franchising, setting up joint ventures, agency line, exports directly? I think Sri Lanka has done a lot of exports directly. We may have been working with a bit of agency kind of stuff. Joint ventures, I'm not so sure. Perhaps DAMRO is into some kind of joint venture with some companies at least. And licensing and franchising of Sri Lankan products, I don't think I have heard about it. Setting up foreign subsidiaries, that could be a possibility, although I have not found any specific evidence to that. So these are the options. On the picture you can see Dunkin' Donuts, a greatly successful company, primarily through franchising. Now these are the options available for a brand going out of the country. You could export, maybe that's where Sri Lanka is mostly. Exporting to various distributors. The licensing, of our products, giving the other party to manufacture or make our products under license, like let's say, Android by Google being licensed up to multiple players like Samsung licensing. Franchising, we see lots of the foreign international franchise chains in Sri Lanka, from Subway to the Hut to Baskin Robbins to so many. That when you go for the licensing, franchising, exporting, yes, we basically make up a deal. There are no shares involved. Local players given the right to make up the product. In licensing, yes, we give him more room to make the product by under license, right? In franchising, the franchise holder has huge power to control the person. Right? This method actually helps the exporting brand because quite a bit of funding comes from the country where we are going, by the guy who gets a license or by the party who get the franchisee we call it, or the person who buys, who imports. This may be an easier option for a fresh company walking out, going for franchising, going for licensing, going for exporting. But then the next level is there, setting up strategic alliances, joint ventures per se. Like that's what Starbucks has done with Tata. I'm not so sure whether our KFC is having a strategic alliance with, uh, the Cargill's Food City. May or may not. Exactly clear on it. And Sri Lanka has quite so many dozens and dozens of Pizza Hut operations. To my knowledge, it's been operated by an Indian chain having a Sri Lankan subsidiary. Perhaps they may have a strategic alliance with Pizza Hut to operate. I think Pizza Hut is probably the largest restaurant chain in Sri Lanka at the moment, franchise per se. I mean, and joint ventures, that's exactly what Tata and Starbucks are at. Two companies getting together and creating a totally new model. That's again, we don't have the shares like, but we make kind of a contractual agreement. That means you get this much a percent, I get this much a percentage from the revenues or profits like. And then the wholly owned subsidiary. This is how Coca-Cola first. Coca-Cola is operating in Sri Lanka. We have Coca-Cola Sri Lanka, which is totally owned by Coca-Cola, and then Starbucks fully owns Starbucks Japan, wholly owned. That means that's the next level thing. You're so sure about the market, so you set up your own baby company, completely owned by you, and through which you do the operations. But most of the international marketing happens through exporting, literally. And then the licensing and franchising of quite a number of chains are there, no? From McDonald's to various supermarkets go with, sorry, supermarkets, not supermarkets, literally, the restaurants go with franchising and licensing of international technical products. Yeah. Then the alliances are not uncommon, like Maruti Suzuki, or something like Nissan, what you call the Renault Nissan. A lot of strategic alliances and joint ventures are also common. Subsidiaries, when everything is looking good, okay, the parent company will think about, right, let's do the highest climb, set up our own. What would be the best option? Each of them will have its own advantages and disadvantages. Looking at franchising, what about the advantages for the franchisor? Yeah, you're in fully control. You're in full control. You do the marketing, you do the design, from the shop to the food. I'm talking about the foods right here. Shop to the food to the outfit of the staff, everything. And then you do get a decent profit share out of it. That's also there. And your brand is not allowed to be hurt. You keep the brand up, you keep the branding up, and the standards can be maintained with regard to the health or stuff. What about the disadvantages? Well, it's not exactly easy to run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of franchises all over the world. Supervision will be killing. You need immense effort at monitoring as to whether the franchise holders are doing it right. And franchisee doesn't need to be an expert at it. Some of those franchisees may be, not exactly capable of doing it right. Likelihood of a franchisee closing operations is not rare. We have seen it in Sri Lanka. So there are the disadvantages. Licensing, yeah, it's your product. Let's say, Android being in the hands of Samsung. Uh, Advantages are there, so you could give it to very many players and obtain the royalties out of it. Disadvantage could be, you know Imagine Google having their own mobile phone with Android on and no one else. How many phones Google would be able to sell? Because Android is very good, considered one of the best. So licensing may result in you sharing little bit too much of your own technical capacity or patented skill set with others, and they make more money out of it than you making royalties. Alliances, yeah, might work, but two cultures, mind you, right? Maruti Suzuki has done great, but alliances are not exactly easy thing to run with. Joint ventures, the same. Two cultures, two systems, two set of people, two set of personalities, two histories, uh, two, you know, really different legal persons. They're not exactly easy marriages to be had. You know, you need a lot of work into run joint ventures or strategic alliances. Wholly owned subsidiary, well, it's cost a lot. Pay, but cost a lot. So whatever the system you go for, you need to face these advantages and disadvantages. Taking a look at Dunkin' Donuts, they've gone for franchises. Starbucks, they have wholly owned subsidiary in Japan, uh, alliance or yeah in Tata in India, and joint ventures in other places like in joint ventures in China and other places. So multiple methods Starbucks has used, whereas yeah, Dunkin' Donuts operating in 40 plus countries, they've gone for one model which is franchising. Two options are there. Are you going to focus on one country, one town, one region, or are you going to diversify into multiple countries together? Challenge. Companies like Nestle have been basically taking on the world, whereas some companies have been very careful, like Starbucks, carefully selecting country after country and concentrating on uh, the most advantageous spots. Concentration is not just into the country, into a place inside the country also. Let's say Starbucks operate in 20 plus cities in India, but it is not the number of cities. India has Indian cities are far higher than the number, but Starbucks has been concentrating on a selected marketplace. So has DAMRO, a Sri Lankan operation, and I'm sure Dilma has also been the case. Diversification, moving into a wider market. Again, the pluses minuses are there in this kind of an approach. Concentration has advantages. You are putting your entire effort, entire human resource, entire capacity set into a targeted market. That way you can win the competition there easily. Not easily, win the competition. There's a higher possibility, higher probability of winning the competition because you're putting your max power there. Remember this thing, when a company concentrates on one town or one country, that is already a country that has attracted some other competitor brands, right? Because you want to concentrate on a country that's viable, country that has a chance. So in such countries, you already have competition in place there. Competition is, almost like a fact of life whenever you are concentrating on a good market. Diversification, mind you, may give you the chance of reaching out to countries where there's less competition as well, because you're moving into number of countries, so you don't need to make profits out of every country. Some of them will be highly lucrative, some of them could be less so. But when you concentrate on one place, there you normally go for a higher opportunity of incomes, and there will be other players also. Before doing this, before determining where to go, a thorough market analysis is a must. You can call it situation analysis. It could be SWOT, it could be PESTEL, it could be, technically a thorough research about the what, why, and how about the company. Sorry, how about the country. Perhaps research into the 10 years in the past, immediate three, making up a good analysis of its potential for the future. What about the growth share? How about the economy is moving? What about the inflation? politics, culture, people, society. So many things matter. Trends, attitudes. About marketing analysis is not just about, calculating the economic strength and the number of customers. No, it involves immense research into, you know, the mentality or the every aspect of the people in the particular target. No easy thing. It will take such a long time to do a research on it. But companies have been very successful. Take a look at Starbucks' success in India. They've done real good work on it. Imagine McDonald's in India. Unlikely company, right? Great success in India. And yes, in Sri Lanka, Pizza Hut. They have nearly 100 outlets, restaurants in Sri Lanka. Virtually every town, every key town. Imagine the success of that market analysis by them. Market analysis, they've done their homework very right. Things that we can do in market analysis. Country risk matters, risk factors of the country, weather, climate, they all matter, right? Climate change. How far is it? How close is it also matters, because normally the parent company would be sending quite a lot of stuff. Wherever the international marketing takes place. Take Dilma makes everything in Sri Lanka and take it to Europe. So such a DAMRO, I guess, is making stuff in local countries also like India. Right? Laws. These laws keep on changing. Law that's today may change. You have to make good study, good forecast. Taxation may change. Take a look at Sri Lanka. The taxes that were not there 2 years ago are there now. Anticipation is a must. Got to study the competitors, especially when you move into concentrated markets. There will be healthy competition. You have to make a proper assessment about the competitor and their strength. Exactly is their position? What exactly are they planning to do? And yes, demand analysis has to be done. What is that? How do the market react to the product? Before that, we'll take a look at the competition part. Yeah, competition as it is all right, but the competition as it might turn out to be is something. New competition may come, newcomers may come. If it's a good market, there's bound to be quite a bit of competition. Yes, from foreign products as well, because some of the international brands may have already come there. What they plan to expand? What are their next steps? How about their branding? What's their competitive advantage? The angle of the competitor for the future, at least for the next 3 years, right? And yes, for the past 3 years is a must. What depends on this? For misreading of the competition, must. Demand. Reading the mind of the customer. Unless we know the customer, how are we to set the marketing mix? Price, back promo, people, process, right? Physical evidence. Studying the people, studying the market in a foreign land is no easy thing. So many companies actually use local know-how, local talent to, a proper assessment about, the local population. Who reads the customers better, always in the game. It's not about the quality of the product. It's about giving the right product that the right, the market needs. To estimate the potential, you can study the current, but how do you create a graph for the potential market in the future? That's a trick. Research is a key thing. Marketing is no guesswork. Marketing is not just here and there filling notes, talking to few people, and coming up with a report. Marketing is about very, very deep end research. Actually, marketing is deeper than even the scientific research. The scope of marketing research is massive. Case of talking to few people and making up an hypothesis of sorts. This is deep end research. Do you analyze the Sri Lanka market? Imagine a product like, let's say, Baskin Robbins, or sorry, yeah, take Baskin Robbins. Trying to expand into other parts of Sri Lanka. They are in Kandy, they are in Colombo. Imagine they are moving into the other parts. What do they need to read? Ice cream consumption of Sri Lankans, the habits of Sri Lankans, the trends, passions for ice cream in Sri Lanka, the way of they partake ice cream, right? And what might be like. That involves deep end research, both qualitative as well as quantitative research. You will know what that is, right? So, if you ask me, deepest of research happen in marketing, not any other field, because it's needed to be. You make a mistake in research, that's a loss in billions to the product. You need to know the right country, right place, right region, right town, and why are we to be there? What advantages do we have, and how much of advantages will there be? They are all pertinent questions. No easy thing to identify the right market. You got to identify the country from a number of countries. No country would know. A foreign brand will just pick up a single country and come there. They'll make up an assessment about couple of countries, and will select the best of them. Identifying the country, they will go deep into that, checking the macro, micros, right, the demand conditions, and then the other conditions about it, the competitive analysis, and then they go for deeper studies, in depth. And finally, only they will decide, all right, let's go to this. Probable enough. Any entry strategy of a product into a foreign country cost huge amounts of money. They're not cheap. Money has to be as close to the point as possible. A lot of macro factors. No matter how deep your research is, there will always be macro factors that would keep you off-footed. Economy can play games. Now the weather is playing, climate is playing, lot of issues. Predict that, and the economic upheavals, right? The fluctuations of the economy is huge. The culture of the people. We don't have set communities anymore. People are mixed up a lot now. Take any major town, it's not one community or one religion. It's technically constantly moving and changing. Colombo that was 10 years ago is not the Colombo today. That was 5 years ago is not Kandy today. So, large changes happen. So players like in the Dunkin' Donuts and all, right, constantly evolve their product, brand, quality. This is in a nutshell how to go international. I got it from online. ABC. Decision on entering the international market. Analyze the macro, right, and then select the right market and how to enter it. What kind of method? Is it a joint venture? Is it a franchise? Whatever. This process may take months and months and months. It involves hundreds of people, local and foreign. International marketing is the highest end of abilities of any big company. The market is an easier one. Be that as it may, winning over a foreign market of foreign people is the next level thing for any great company.